Eastern Europe during summer is not a place for the faint of heart. After the cold winter, emerging like a phoenix from its ashes, the Eastern European female is ready for, well, anything. Her body is built to endure a long and rather heated summer, but this special breed of Eastern European female has an unimaginable way to protect against the heat. There's no high enough pressure she can't face, because when the pressure's on, she takes it off. She doesn't need protection or any shield. Her biggest weapon is her vulnerability. She's mysteriously transparent. Her pure intentions are evident. She doesn't have anything to hide. The enemy will have no chance than to be disarmed. She collects all the happy tears she cried over the winter, and in them, she takes her divine healing summer bath.
Okay. In today's episode is all about people and how me, Ioana Petresco, I'm just the sum of all of the people that I've ever met, and you are the sum of all of the people that you've ever met, and how Jordan Peterson is hot in real life. In the world of The Godfather, Don Corleone, the head of the mafia, is the one that runs the show. In my family, the one that runs the show is and forever will be my 90-year-old grandma. Bunicuțo, câți ani împlinești astăzi?
91.
Bunicuțo, ai făcut 90 de ani! We took her out to celebrate her birthday. Ia să te văd! Ia să te văd la mulți ani!
Hai bă, să uită lumea la vezi și să vedetă.
Mămică, ce bine arăți! Ia, bunicuțo, haide, locul de onoare! O dulceață!
Trebuie
dai și
adevărat.
broșă!
Da, am broșă, știi de ce? Că e prea decoltată.
Am înțeles.
Acum, abia și pagă.
Îmi place cum te-ai asortat cu bentița.
Nu? Uita mea!
Mulți ani trăiască! She's a classic grandma. She cooks great food.
Da, vă fac niște cremuri, vreți să fac?
She's obsessed with seeing me in a wedding dress.
Trebuie să iei viața în piept cu totul și cu totul. E mai grea pe urmă.
Da, bunicuțo, eu zic că am luat viața în piept. Nu cred că e nevoie să mă căsătoresc ca să o iau în piept.
Păi, dar și căsătoria e un fel de loterie, așa.
Deci acum vrei să mă duc și la loto, să joc 6 din 49. She believes that maybe communism wasn't that bad after all, and she has deep nostalgia about how things used to be.
Ce păr frumos am avut.
Her biggest joy in life is to see me wear the pink pajama set she bought me when I was 10.
Gata, bunicuță, m-am îmbrăcat cu pijamaluțele tale preferate.
It still fits. Kind of.
Câți ani aveam când mi le-ai luat?
Anișori, 4.
3 ani.
Erai mai mare?
Nu, bunii.
Erai mai mare?
Cred că aveam 10 ani când
Aveai 10 ani?
Da.
Zicea, dar nu erai format așa, uite, vezi, acum ai...
My happy place used to be for a very long time my grandma's bedroom.
Ce vrei să faci? Să bădești, să faci ceva?
Să
Ce vrei
dorm.
faci? Să dorm. Acolo dorm. Ia să vedem noi aici ce e. Că eu aici n-am mai făcut nimic. Ia. Dormi tu cu mița asta să-ți schimbă delicarea?
Nu, e foarte bine aici.
Da.
Deci patul ăsta e patul meu preferat din tot universul, bunicuțu. Deci mai bine decât aici nu dorm nicăieri.
Da. Și întotdeauna se deschizi ușița asta ca să nu-ți bată lumina. Mă duceam când eram mică, părintele Iordache avea o fată panișoară care era de seamă cu de la școală. Și când te scoli și vrei să mănânci, îmi spui că am ce să-ți spun. Bine, te pot. Și eu fac.
And no matter how many hardships I had to face that day, I would just go visit her, eat some schnitzel cu puree, go take a nap, and I would come out rejuvenated.
I just woke up. What am I gonna do when this is gonna be gone? My grandma's gonna die, and I don't know. Probably this apartment is not gonna be here anymore.
I love my grandma so much. But when I was younger, I used to be so upset on her because I understood that a lot of the things I didn't like about myself were qualities that she somehow encouraged in me. My grandma loved me the way it felt good to her, not the way it was good for me. And that's why it took me a long time to understand and take responsibility that, hey, I cannot blame my grandma for the things I didn't like about myself. She did the best she could do, and I'm sure that if she could have done more, she would have.
Și când nu o să mai fie eu, ce să fac? Mă duc la tine la mormânt și ce să fac?
Păi o lumânare și pleci.
Ce flori să-ți aduc?
Nu, mai dăm pe flori pe lumânare.
Ce flori să-ți aduc? O să vin.
Nu e...
Eu o să mai am 50 de ani de trăit.
Să fii sănătoasă, o să trăiești. Florile, mie toate florile îmi plac. Asta e. Tot începutul are și un sfârșit. Hai, nu plânge, te rog. Gata.
Sometimes I get this bittersweet feeling when I look at my grandma. I feel like she is the definition of unfulfilled potential.
Mi-a ieșit și mustață. Mi-a ieșit și mustață.
Lasă foarte bine. Așa se știe femeia serioasă după mustață.
She has so many gifts, but she never had a chance to grow them. She is so witty, she's so intelligent.
Asta bej, cravată.
She would have been a great artist, she just didn't have the right influences.
Sesiunea dumneavoastră anterioară este muncă. Mulțumesc. Multă sănătate.
Mulțumesc, mulțumesc.
I received quite a lot of interview and podcast requests, and I love doing interviews and podcasts, but because of all of the projects that I'm doing into Visual Metaphor Academy in the past year, I couldn't honor many of the invitations. But when my childhood friend Tobi Ibitoye asked me to come and join him on his radio show podcast, I couldn't say no.
Tobi is in the house, everybody.
Serving you a glass of water, and we're at Tanana, which is the radio station where I do this podcast and have lovely conversations with people.
What a perfect intro, Tobi.
Watch out for the one that happens on radio.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much. Tobi, we did it! We did it, Tobi!
It's so beautiful. And she's just, I don't know if you can see my eyes, but it's like I smoked this morning. No, I didn't. I just met with Ioana, that's all.
I cannot be attracted to a man if he doesn't have a sense of humor or if he doesn't manage to make me tear up from laughing. This is pretty much where my daddy issues end. Because the first man that has managed to make me laugh when I was 6 months old was my dad.
Ok.
Probabil că 20 de minute sunt la tine, jumătate de oră mare.
Bine, papa, te aștept.
Sometimes I look at him and I analyze him as if he wouldn't be my dad. As the normal person that had 40 years before I was even born into his life, I just look at him as Florian, not my dad.
De foarte mult timp aveam întrebări pentru tine. De fapt, mereu am întrebări pe care vreau să le pun și niciodată n-am timp să te întreb. Că nu are sens să zic dinainte că o să te întreb, pentru că tu oricum ești pregătit cu răspunsurile.
Normal.
And when I start to see him through this new lens, I start noticing things that weren't there before. How my dad rarely ever complains.
Cum te simți, tăticule, de ziua ta?
Foarte bine, privilegiat aș zice. Căci n-am mai avut niciodată ocazia să am bucuria de a pregăti pește de Florii în gradul ăsta de complexitate.
He almost never talks about his real problems, and most of the time he discusses the latest mathematical discoveries.
A venit și m-a dat pe toți peste cap. M-a făcut și brâncuștea asta.
În ce an era asta?
Păi cred că la sfârșitul secolului 19.
He's like an aristocrat. He always smells good, he's never in a hurry, he's always elegant. I think I heard him swear 5 times in my whole life.
Asta e un lucru foarte interesant, e că de fiecare dată când se întâmplă ceva, de la mâncăm o supă împreună, ne plimbăm pe stradă, suntem în supermarket și zic orice referință culturală istorică, tu îmi spui anul în care... tu îmi spui anul în care s-a născut, îmi faci o mică... Tu ești practic un Wikipedia, însă în persoană.
Contextualizat în același
Da, și
timp.
pe mine și niciodată nu a încetat să mă uimească acest lucru și cumva vreau să aflu lucruri de la tine, dar niciodată nu am timp să le aflu, că am mereu alte priorități și vreau să nu se mai întâmple asta.
But sometimes his stoic demeanor can be quite a challenge, especially when it's his birthday and you want to surprise him. How do you surprise a man that never wants anything?
Și ce-ți dorește, ticule, de ziua ta?
Ce să-mi doresc? Cum am zis, prezența voastră, a celor dragi. Am de toate, ce mai trebuie? Nu mai trebuie nimic.
But the impossible happened. My dad showed appreciation for the coat that Monica made me. He said it reminded him of a coat that he's always been dreaming of, but he could never find to buy. And in that moment, his eyes sparkled. And I saw the first wish that my dad expressed in 10 years. And I said, this is what we have to get for his birthday. We have to make this coat come to life. I phoned Monica and I asked her if she can make it in time for his birthday. She was in. Step 1 of the plan is completed. My dad doesn't suspect anything. I know I'm gonna go to Monica to help her finish the coat in a stage that's ready to be tried on. Monica is my super talented friend that makes many of my clothes.
Monica, tu faci tipare sau joci Twister? Eu te-am mai văzut făcând tipare, dar n-am stat niciodată cu tine cap-coadă să văd cum se face. Nu știam că e atât de complicat.
În principiu nu e foarte greu, dar trebuie să fii super atent la calcule.
Monica, tocmai ai făcut 20 de calcule în ultimul minut. Ce e asta?
O parte din calcule de azi pentru trenci. Nu le-am notat pe toate.
Mai durerea de cap, ai un antinevralgic.
Monica as a designer got to a level of mastery that constantly amazes me.
Băi, this is complicated shit, să-mi bag picioarele.
Da, este. Chiar este. Dacă faci de la zero.
Păi și care ar fi cealaltă opțiune să nu faci de la zero?
Să ai tipările gata făcute. Nu știu, să le cumperi de pe net.
Dar tu până acum cam pe toate le-ai făcut singură, nu?
Da.
There are many people that want to be designers and make cool clothes, but the very few that actually take the time to learn how to make a well-fitted piece of clothing.
Ce mai e de făcut? E de făcut epoleți, cordoanele cordoanele de la mâneci, cordon, talie și bizet. Whatever that is. Monica, why is your eye twitching?
I don't know, man.
Monica, your eye is twitching. There's something wrong. Monica, we have to do something about it. Wait, let me try again. Let me try. Monica, it's moving. Calm down, the little eye. Calm down.
Me and Monica, we always laugh at the amount of assistants that came to her, that wanted to learn from her, and that bailed after 1 week. They last 1 week because it's hard work. Making these beautiful clothes looks easy, but it's really not. Design is a battlefield, Monica. Fashion design is a battlefield.
It is. Că n-ai cum să creezi ceva ce nu înțelegi cum funcționează. Adică dacă nu înțelegi sistemele de închidere, cum se așează fiecare material, tiparele, cum le dezvolți, e treabă serioasă. Cred că ai văzut și tu aseară, dar ce ai văzut tu a fost partea cea mai ușoară.
Nu mi-am amintit de calculele alea, că mă pare, mi se face rău.
Making a coat or any type of well-fitted piece of clothing is hard work.
Îți place
Ce anume?
procesul?
Da. Îmi place pentru că simt că tata o să fie foarte bucuros și că facem o bucurie cuiva care contează, știi? O să schimbe viața cuiva. Într-o măsură mai mică.
After all the hard work, the coat was finally ready.
Monica, this is so gorgeous. Oh my god. This is top quality, Monica.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
Thank you so much. I really worked a lot on it.
Yeah. Nu, dar cusăturile, materialul, felul în care, Croiul este impecabil, man.
Thank you.
Back in the old days when I was a wannabe nun, I used to feel an immense sense of gratitude towards all the humans that I would get in contact with. And the thought process that would trigger this feeling of gratitude was the realization of how small were the chances for me to be born, how small were the chances for you to be born, and how small were the chances for us to coexist at the same time. Now I still get glimpses of that feeling, but they're very rare because now I'm immersed into this capitalist world. But still, sometimes I look at the human in front of me and I'm like, from all of the people that could be sat on this bench in front of me, you're the person. The chances historically for us to meet were so small. From all the people in the subway, you're the person that is next to me. From all the dentists that will ever walk this earth, you are my dentist.
Ce o să-mi faceți astăzi?
Nici nu te aștepți, nici nu știi, nici nu-ți imaginezi.
O să mă injectați?
O să.
Mă întreabă lumea dacă sunt cu droguri. Și le spun că nu, dar s-ar putea asta să...
Cred că da.
Sunt, nu?
Da. Ești obișnuită?
Nici nu vreau să văd, nici nu vreau să văd.
Ce frumos. Mă simt un artist. Parcă te creezi, parcă te recreezi.
I just finished reading 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Berkman, a brilliant book on time and how precious is what we have. I love this quote. There is only one way to read, which is to browse in libraries and bookshops, picking up books that attract you, reading only those, dropping them when they bore you, skipping the parts that drag, and never reading anything because you feel like you ought or because it is part of a trend or a movement. So yes, read the classics, but also read whatever the hell you want.
You won't need your purse. I arched my brow at him and he smiled. What is going on? I asked with curiosity.
We can read the classics, we can read the ancient Greeks, we can be fascinated by culture and the big thinkers of this world. But sometimes we need to change a little bit. We need to change the rhythm with something like an erotic novel. Yesterday, I couldn't sleep in the morning because I had a flying ants invasion in my apartment. And trying to fall back asleep, inspired by my conversation with Dave and Dominique, I sent him this really, really funny YouTube lady, and he was like, Ioana, what is this? Is that an erotic novel? And it wasn't an erotic novel, but it sounded like one. So I searched on YouTube, erotic novels, and this popped up, Corporate Ass, audiobook by Sandy Lynn. And I started listening to it, and I fell asleep on this, and it was so entertaining.
My panties were already soaked with excitement, and my lady parts were on fire, screaming with desire.
I cannot.
But from the hardness that was pressed against my lower back, you feel so good, he moaned.
And this voice, you feel so good.
My soft moans became louder as an orgasm overtook me.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is so unrealistic. An orgasm from fingering her in 30 seconds. Yes, this is exactly how sex and orgasms work.
From the sexy black lace bra she was wearing and matching lace panties was already making my heart trip with excitement.
Maybe if you would say these things, I mean, I'm sure if I would say these things or someone would say these things in a moment of passion to me, these things would really sound erotic. But in this context of this audiobook, they just do not work. There's no erotic component to them.
Her pussy tightened and a rush of warmth swept over me. I'm gonna already. I panted as I pushed into her one last time, and my exploded.
Unfortunately, this book ruined dirty talk for me. I don't think I can ever say the word ever again after this book. This book used the word I think more than 200 times. Again and again and again. They just repeat the word I cannot take the word
seriously, I'm just never gonna be able to say it ever again. I talked in episode 3 about the event that's gonna take place in Bucharest, which is called Brand Mind. Bună dimineața, suntem în drum către evenimentul Brand Minds, unde o să vedem pe Gary V, pe JP, pe Gabor Mate. Suntem aici cu domnul șofer care ne face tot posibilul să facem foarte, foarte devreme. Și tocmai am discutat cu dânsul despre educație financiară. Aveți ceva de adăugat?
Eu?
Da.
Da, dintr-un salariu minim la noi în țară.
Aha, în România.
Nu un salariu
Așa
minim.
fac. Zic, înainte să înceapă, mă urc pe scenă și zic bună ziua doamnelor și domnilor. Domnul, cum vă cheamă?
Răzvan. Răzvan.
Domnul Răzvan are o întrebare. Șofer de Bolt. Are o întrebare pentru dumneavoastră. Haideți că ne apropiem 3 minute. Credeți că au scos covorul roșu?
Da.
I went and attended the event with none other than my dad.
Brand Minds, we can't do much. Just to be clear, plant-based food is the future.
And you can either pay in cash or with a credit card. Which one would feel worse?
Everything we've learned in school.
We're selling all the time, whether we like it or not, but we're doing it on a remade landscape. We're doing it in a world of information parity, asymmetry, that's fundamentally different.
Seeing someone in the flesh is powerful. And I love the fact that I could see all of these speakers that of some I have heard before.
Let's talk about death. Let's lighten things up a little bit.
Because it's a wonderful reminder that they're just human. When you see them on a screen versus when you see them in real life, those are two very different experiences. And as I was watching the event, you had first the speaker that was very close to you because I was like 1 row away from them on the stage. And also you had all of these big screens all around the event. And in real life, when I was looking at the speaker, I felt, yes, that's just a human talking. I could see all of their human, normal imperfections. But when I would look to the left on the big screen, which was a live recording of them talking, it was so interesting because all of a sudden they seemed unrelatable. They seemed like the hero. They seemed like this great speaker that is so far out of your reach that you could never be like them.
And we found out that most business schools do not teach sales. It's alarming.
And a quote that I absolutely love is that heroes are not to be admired from afar. They show you what you are capable of if you put in the effort and time. The long-awaited Jordan Peterson finally came on stage.
What's best in your own life? If you're not motivated to work.
Many of my friends attended the event, including Sabina and Victor. They were coordinating the volunteers and they also had access to the backstage.
They only needed to use a very light touch wherever they went.
That makes people more productive.
So you can start by doing that yourself. Like, why are you doing the exhaustion takes all the joy out of the work.
Simți măreție când te lovești. Da. Și când pune lumina în ochi și se măreți.
Confuziune puțin ortodoxă. I find the speech with that we are done. Should I supposed to find it enlightening or arousing? He's so fine. JP is fine. I'm hot for JP, I think. The equally long-awaited Gary V finally showed up. Prior to the event, me and Victor were anticipating what Gary V might say in his speech.
Man, I have this thing to do, like this, like
content. You gotta put up content
every morning.
Did you post 3 times a day? LinkedIn is the new big thing.
It's free. Enjoy the free reach of LinkedIn. Enjoy it now.
In 10 years, everybody's gonna say you're gonna.
Gary V said the exact things we anticipated he was going to say.
I am flabbergasted by how many people continue to not use LinkedIn to produce 3, 4, 5 pieces of creative content marketing a day.
But somehow, seeing him in real life and listening to those exact ideas that content is the most important and you have to post 3 times per day. That TikTok, LinkedIn are the next big things. It clicked. Something clicked seeing him live and listening to that information again, that at the end of the event, I decided to open myself up to the world of TikTok, which I was kind of closed to before. So I said, I'm gonna give TikTok a chance and I'm gonna actually take my content and post it on TikTok as well. And that is crazy because you right now might be watching this video because you discovered me on TikTok, but you wouldn't have discovered me on TikTok if I wouldn't have been to the event where Gary Vee wouldn't have said all of those things about TikTok that would have made me to post on TikTok and go viral on TikTok, so you saw me.
Content every day, consuming content, and not as enough content is TikTok and LinkedIn.
Summertime, the season of summer parties. And when Serin and Victor invite you to the seaside with them to join them for a party where they also act, you say yes.
Doamna Serin Jema, puteți să veniți puțin?
Știm că suntem într-o stare excepțională. Suntem extraordinar de fericiți. Cum ne simțim?
Cum ne simțim? E 8:30! Repetăm.
For this party, they created these characters inspired by Commedia dell'arte, and I took a few shots of them.
Băieții mei actori, ei se lasă conduși de energia feminină.
Deja s-a lăsat dus de energia mea.
Eu abia aștept să adus energia ta pentru Nichi.
Deja s-a lăsat dus de energia mea feminină. Bagă smințile
Le în cap, bă, băiat.
Ok, actorii, haideți, 2!
The party started. Parties are not really my thing, but at least I got to wear the headpiece that Monica made me. I had my monthly call with my friend Tatiana.
They're beautiful and they have such a gorgeous message, and I love the way you do like the storytelling. It's very engaging, like where you go in and out. It's like it looks like I'm talking, like a painting is talking to me, and you are the muse, but you're also the creator.
Thank you, Tati.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to create this juxtaposition of fantasy with real, with this picture perfect reality that we all aspire to. That is, you know, fashion, and we look at it and it's so beautiful, but usually fashion doesn't have any real message and is very empty. So I want to add depth to the beauty. So I want to create beautiful things, but also create the juxtaposition of beautiful things with real life, imperfect, beautiful moments.
Very grateful to be in your life, and I'm so grateful that you're in my life.
Baby girl, me too. I completely feel the same. I'm so grateful for this. And it's exciting because you can always make new friends, but you can never immediately make old friends. And we're doing the old friends thing right now.
You can never make old friends, and this hits hard because as an adult, the relationship that has impacted me the most was the one with my good friend Monica.
Probabil sunt mulți tipi aici care ar vrea să vorbească cu mine, dar am fața asta de dacă vorbești cu mine, dau un picior în gură și don't try it.
Maimon, da.
Ioana would talk with any guy she would find attracted here. Sincer, am tot timpul chestia asta. What would Ioana do? Pentru că tu, pentru mine, ești cumva simbolul libertății și a lipsei astea de filtre. Nu zic că nu ești o persoană politicoasă, din contră. Nu știu, ai o libertate pe care eu admir foarte mult. Și sunt sigură că mulți oameni care se enervează când te văd, de fapt, admiră chestia asta la tine.
Ce am simțit eu, că tu zici că ai învățat multe de la mine, eu am învățat foarte multe de la tine. Chiar asta vorbeam cu Jared acum. I-am spus, efectiv, simt că ești o parte din mine și simt că, efectiv, m-ai învățat să iubesc.
You literally are
Pe bune, deci eu am învățat să iubesc mai autentic cu tine și tu m-ai învățat ce înseamnă să acorzi libertate unui om. Nimeni niciodată nu m-a făcut să mă simt la fel de liberă și acceptată, știi? Să pot să fiu eu însumi, dar simt că n-a fost că a fost meritul meu, a fost că tu mi-ai dat ocazia să fiu liberă prin felul în care tu te-ai raportat la mine.
My best relationships are the ones where I put the most effort into. And the relationship in which I put the most effort into the last few years was the relationship with my Visual Metaphor Academy students.
Visual Metaphor Academy.
Visual Metaphor Academy.
Visual Metaphor Academy.
Visual Metaphor Academy is the course that I teach where you can start as a complete beginner and in 4 months you learn how to use a camera, you become a filmmaker and get your first clients. And after all the effort of making this program better and better, after working on myself as a teacher to be better and better and better, after trying to give them the best absolute experience as a student.
Pentru prima dată am avut testimoniale, ultima săptămână din curs, în care ne vedem și vorbim cum ți-a părut cursul și înregistrez, încât după o să pot să arăt lumii ce zic studenții mei despre mine. Eu ideal mi-aș fi dorit să fi primit energia pe care eu am dat-o, care a fost this is it, like during the whole course I'm like this is gonna change your life, this information is so precious, is so important and you don't find it anywhere, and I've worked so hard to learn this shit and then to teach it and to put it in a way that you can understand it easily and step by step, and it's, you know, I've worked so hard for this. Și primul testimonial, și what do you think, how were you before the program, da. Și ce pe să zic? Diana, oh my god, a început să zică.
I think the program helped me more like in life. Like definitely learned all the film stuff. Like, you know, I had no idea about how to even use a camera beforehand, but the growth mindset, and I think I've never like I said, grown so much in a short period of time where I'm like actively noticing. I went to a really great university I went to the #1 public university in the USA, and I didn't quote unquote study this much.
How easy do you think it's going to be for you to grow after this program with the information that you gathered so far?
So I feel like I'm in a really good place, totally set up for success. I have all the tools necessary to get clients if need be.
What do you think about me as a teacher?
Oh my God. Okay. At first, I didn't come in with any expectations whatsoever, but I was shookest. I was shookest. And you as a teacher, over time, I feel like you really, as the harder the concepts got, the more I appreciated your teaching.
What would you say to someone that wants to learn filmmaking, that doesn't have any knowledge in filmmaking and is considering enrolling into Visual Metaphor Academy?
I would say do it without a doubt. For someone who has no knowledge, there is absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. And at the end of the 4 months, I feel relatively transformed as a person, not even just in the craft.
După aia am vorbit cu a doua studentă. Aceeași chestie.
You're a very, very good teacher. I'm really surprised that you're not in a school or something. I think what good teachers have, it's when they really, really care about their students are learning and they're not just giving out information. I can be truly myself, you know? I think that maybe one of the biggest lessons I learned from you is being your truly, 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 truly yourself. I feel like you were really thorough and the whole course is so comprehensive that I do feel like I have the tools to take the next step, you know, start the next chapter of my career. But you really care about personal growth, and so I felt you know, I wasn't just learning technical concepts and how to use my camera. I was also connecting that with my personal growth, and you also helped me through some of my fears. You want to see me succeed, and I can really tell. I don't know, I just have so many good things to say about you.
Would you recommend it?
Of course I would recommend it. I think it's a program that it's suited for all ages. If you're just curious about it, I think that's your biggest hint that you should do it. Go ahead and do it. The more you wait, the more you're pushing off your dreams. I'm looking forward to Metaphor Academy, the 100th version.
Mame, ce faci?
Yes, and I'm so happy.
Ce mișto.
Da, după tot timpul ăsta care am muncit atât de mult, what is happening in this program is life-changing. This is how I designed it, and this is what it is. And the people say that this now, and I'm so happy. Pentru că intenția aia pe care am avut-o eu acum 2 ani, 3 ani, când mă gândeam că o să fac un program care o să facă asta, it came to life. And it's the best feeling in the world. Because my girls finished Visual Metaphor Academy, I was so excited to send them something physical because we never met in real life. So these letters were really, really important. I have purchased everything. So I have 2 envelopes because I'm sending to 2 different students. One of them is in New York, one of them is in New Jersey. This visual metaphor stamp is a metaphor in itself, and I'm going to explain it in a second. And then I'm going to use wax to seal. Okay. First, I need to compose the letter, and then I'm gonna write the letter beautifully on the paper. While writing the letters, I got emotional. I finally finished the letters. Here's one letter. Here's the other letter. This red one. Ooh. Ooh, so beautiful. Oh my god. Look at this. Do you see this is my visual metaphor? Because in the beginning, when the student starts, he is just like the seed. Do you see this is a tree? You see this little seed here? He's just like this little seed, and then in 4 months he grows, and then he keeps growing like this tree of growth. Guys, come in the pool with me. Come in the pool. Join me. Which is her. That's me. This is Elena. She makes all of these pictures that you see at the end of the videos.